Okay, good day, class. So this is the first topic for the course outcome 3, and this is linear transformation. So let's have our introduction. So our objectives: find the image and the pre-image of function. We'll define later what is image and what is the pre-image of function. Show that a function is a linear transformation and find the linear transformation. All right. So where are the linear transformations applied? No, just like in the previous topic that we had, I gave you some um, applications, and they're similar. So it's being used in graphics, and this is actually the continuation. If we in the previous we have the bases, or where do we apply bases, and you see the same, no, the same concepts, no, where we apply the nullity, the bases. So it's in computer graphics, engineering and robotics, physics, etc. Okay, so and I have explained how all these things are working in these fields. So it's actually leading to all those concepts are leading to again to linear transformation, right? When you saw in a photo or rotate a 3D model in AutoCAD, linear transformation are applied. The principal component analysis reduces dimensionality of large databases or datasets by transforming them into new coordinate system to simplify the dataset. You know? Recommendation systems on Netflix or Spotify or even in YouTube use linear algebra transformation to predict user preferences. Now, Netflix and Spotify use linear algebra to handle huge data sets. No? They store user ratings or listening habits in matrices. Then linear transformations help find patterns in those matrices. And the system predicts what you'll like next based on similarities. And you see, math isn't just numbers, it powers the playlist and movie suggestions you see every day. The finite element method, or the FEM, uses stiffness matrices to predict how bridges or buildings deform under load. Engineers designing skyscrapers in Manila use FME simulations that rely on linear transformations. This finite element method is a mathematical technique, that engineers use to predict how structures such as bridges and skyscrapers will behave under loads such as gravity, wind, or earthquakes. Instead of analyzing the whole building at once, FME divides the structure into smaller pieces, or they call it finite elements. Each piece is easier to study, and together they approximate the behavior of the entire structure. Now, engineers combine these matrices into a single system, then solve it using linear transformations to predict how the entire building deforms under forces. See how powerful linear transformation is? Like the example in Manila, no, which is happening right now. That's why they cut the trees in the Quirino Avenue, because they're going to create skyscrapers. No? And FME helps engineers test designs against typhoon winds, earthquakes, and heavy loads, making use the building's way safely instead of collapsing. So, just like what had happened in the previous disaster, the earthquake in Mindanao, you see the fast food chain there, uh, it was easily collapsed, no? There may be something wrong with that construction. Uh, Maybe, you know, it has to be, investigated. And there's one building or a tower being shown in the news that during that earthquake, which is 7.8, the building just swayed. No, and I just want to commend the engineers who made that one. It did not collapse or nothing happened. Maybe inside something happening there, but the building itself is very um, sturdy. No, so this is what linear algebra can do. No, math tools like matrices are just abstract. No? They are what keep bridges and skyscrapers standing strong. Economists use linear regression, a linear transformation, to forecast inflation trends in the Philippines. If the forecast is real, no? Some of the economists I know, no, most of the forecast the government is doing is, you know, uh, somehow a little bit bogus because, um, of course, the corruption is happening, no? Another is the online banking apps in the Philippines use encryption methods rooted in linear transformations to protect transactions. No? They use encryption method built on linear algebra. Okay. Matrices and transformations scramble data into codes. Only authorized systems can reverse the process to read it if the authorized system is really for those people who are authorized. So, but if somebody else touch that system, then the scamming happen. Okay. So linear transformation protect your money every time you transfer to pay online. If the transaction or was made really with the authorized system. Autonomous delivery robots in warehouses apply linear transformations to adjust their paths. In Japan, they used to uh, have the robots as their manpower, because they have scarcity of manpower, like unlike here in the Philippines. So autonomous robots move goods from place to place, and they use linear transformation to adjust their paths. Sensor data is mapped onto coordinates with matrices. This math lets them avoid obstacles and reach the right spot. Now, fewer errors, fewer delays, bigger and better transactions. So that's linear algebra. Linear algebra makes robots smart enough to navigate safely and efficiently. The images and pre-images of functions. All right, in this section, we will learn about functions that map a vector space V into a vector space W. This type of function is denoted by, so we have T means transformation from V to W. The standard function terminology is based for such functions, and for instance, V is the domain of T and W is the codomain of T. Domain of V is a set of all possible input vectors, and the codomain, the W, the set of all possible outputs after applying T. So for example, if V is equal to is in R2 and W is in R3, three-dimensional, no? Then T takes two-dimensional vectors and transform them into three-dimensional ones. So for example, this is actually similar to the uh, algebraic functions that we know in algebra, in basic algebra, that we have y equal to f of x. And we know that the set of x values, set of x values is what we call the domain, okay? And the set of all y values is what we call the range. And in this case, we use the codomain, okay? Codomain. And again, no, in here, instead of using, it's the same concept, no? Instead of using the notation f, in the transformation, we're using t. And t is a rule, okay? So for example, in y, we have x squared minus 2x. And what we get here is actually a parabola that opens upward, no? That is a parabola. So before we can get this a figure or image, we have to have a rule. And the rule is you have to square the input, whatever the value of x is, and then subtract twice of x. And then whatever the value of y, all the values that you input in this x is a set of x values, which is what we call the domain. And the result, the y values, the range. All right. So if v is in v, and W is in W or vector space W such that the transformation of V is equal to W, then W is the image, okay? Is the image of V under T. So the set of all images of vectors in V is the range of T, and the set of all V in V such that T of V is equal to W is what we call the pre-image of W. Just like in the previous, no, we have the uh, X and Y values. So in here, the V, the one that we input, no. So in the function y equal to f of x, okay, all the values that we input here, the set of all values, we call that the domain, no? And in here, we have the same, no? All the vectors uh, in V is what we call the domain, the set of all the vectors. Then, if we apply T, which is a rule under this transformation, then we will be getting what we call the image, and this is the image of V. And if we're going to relate this in the basic function, these are all the values of y, okay, the resulting value. So before we can get the W, we have to follow the rule that is being stated in the T or in the transformation. So instead of using the notation F, okay, in the basic functions, we are using now the T because these are vectors that make the function transform, no, with that rule. Okay. So these mappings are, so we call that mapping, no, uh, are the foundation of the linear algebra applications. Now, the graphics transformations, robotics path adjustments, encryption, and a lot more. So think of T as a rule, okay, as a rule, helps us see how abstract math connects to real system. So if we have y equal to f of x, for us to get a parabola, we should have a particular rule. Now, for example, we have x squared minus 2x. We'll be getting a parabola that opens upward, right? So for us to get this uh, image or figure, there should be a rule that we have to follow. So the same way here, if we want to create anything, no, transform a vector to another vector, then we will be using a rule. That is what we call the rule in the transformation. Okay. Let's have an example. So for a vector v equal to v sub 1, v sub 2 in R2, 2R2, defined by the transformation of v, which is equal to v sub 1 minus v sub 2, and the second component is v sub 1 plus 2 v sub 2. All right, so that is the rule. Now, we are asked to find the image of v, which is equal to negative 1, 2. Find the image of v, which is 0, 0. And in letter C, we are asked to find the pre-image of W, which is equal to negative 1, 11. All right? So the rule here meaning the first component of W is this, what we're going to do for us to find the image. So we have to subtract the first and the second component of V. And then for the second component of W, we have to add the first component and twice of the second component of V. Okay, so our solution for V, again, this is our V1, this is our V2. All you have to do is to uh, substitute the value. Okay, you just substitute the value here. So this is -1 V1. Okay, minus, because the rule is minus the second component, which is equal to 2. Okay, so, and for the second component, okay, V1, the first, -1, plus, okay, it says here plus 2, twice of the second component, so times 2. So this will give you -3, and this will give us -1 plus 4 is equal to 3. So the image of V, -1, 2 is -3, 3. Okay? All right, so for letter B, we're asked to find the image of V, which is equal to 0, 0. So again, we substitute. Okay, this is very obvious, no? Again, our rule is to get in the first component, get the difference of the first and the second, so 0 minus 0. And for the second component, we have the first component plus twice the second component, which everything is 0. Okay, so the pre-image, the image is equal to 0, 0. It does not change, still 0, 0. When we have this result, the image and the pre-image are the same, so we call that the identity transformation. Okay, later we'll have this property, identity transformation. All right, let's move now to the next. All right, the pre-image, we are asked to find the pre-image of W, which is equal to -1, 11. Remember that given here is W, okay? So remember this is equal to W. So if we equate them, all right, so that's equal to -1, 11. Then you can say the first component must be equal to the first component on the other side of uh, uh, the vector equation. So same way here, so that's equal to 11. And you will be creating a system of linear equation. And again, there are two ways you can solve this. You may solve this by substitution, elimination by substitution, or you may use the augmented matrix, no? So let's remove this one first, okay? So if you are going to create now the augmented matrix, all right? So, and then reduce that to RREF, no? Raw reduced echelon form. So again, we get the coefficient here. This is 1, this is 1. Okay, from the first equation, we have 1, -1, and the augmented, of course, that is -1. Then in here, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it is equal to 11. So again, we reduce to, it has to be reduced to 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay, and then whatever the result here. And again, by using the rule, you just subtract, no? You get negative R1, diba? Plus R2 for us to get the new R2. So that's what had happened there. So that will be -1 plus 0. So that's the rule. And that gives you 0, 3, and 12. Okay? And then you make this 0. Okay, you make this 0. Very simple. Just simply add, no? Just add R1 and R2 for us to get new R1. Okay, because the R1 will be changed here. And in here you can see this is your V1 and this is your V sub 2. And V sub 1 is equal to 3. And V sub 2 is equal to 4. So you have now the result, or you may use the elimination. Okay, this is what we do in algebra. You can do that, no? and you will, of course, you will come up with the same solution, and that the pre-image of W is 3, 4. Okay. Okay, so let's move now to the definition of linear transformation, how we get the linear transformation of the function. All right, so the definition of linear transformation, let V and W be vector spaces. And the mapping of the function from V to W is a linear transformation of V into W when the two properties below are true for all U and V vectors. Now, in vector space V and for any scalar C. Okay, so first property is the sum. If the transformation of the sum of the two vectors is equal to the sum of the transformation of the two vectors is true, then you can say it's a linear transformation. And of course, another property is the transformation of the scalar product of uh, C and U. That should be equal to the scalar times the transformation of U. So meaning, uh, if you add first the vectors U and V, and then you apply the transformation, okay, it should be the same. Should be the same when you apply the transformation to U first, and then add it to the uh, transformation of V separately, no? You apply the transformation to U, and then you apply the transformation to V, then you add. So that should be the same when you add the vectors first before you apply the transformation. Okay, that is the same way to the scalar product. Okay, so let's check. Um, this just okay. Note no na that a linear transformation is operation preserving because they because the same result occurs whether you perform the operations of addition and scalar multiplication before and after applying the linear transformation. So although the same symbols denote the vector operations in both V and W, you should note that the operations may be different as shown in the figure. Okay? So ito, in here, you add first the two vectors before you apply the transformation. In here, apply first the transformation before you add. Before you add. Dapat, ang result nila ay pareho. Same way here, uh, you apply the transformation to the product already, okay? And it should be the same as when you factor out C and then apply the transformation to U, okay? So let's have an example here. So let's have an example here. This is the same rule that was given in number 1, okay? So given the transformation V1, V2, that is equal to V sub 1 minus V sub 2 comma v sub 1 plus 2 v sub 2. Now, we're asked to prove or to show that this transformation is linear. Okay, so first we need two vectors, of course. So for us to show the addition, we should be needing another vector. So let us introduce another vector. So the one given here is already v, no? So let us introduce another vector, which is u, so that when we add, we have two vectors already. And let these two vectors be in I2, meaning they have both the same component, which is 2. And let's use a scalar c. Then using the properties of vector addition and scalar multiplication, first, okay, let us add first, no? Let us add first the two vectors. So we have the u and the v, so u1, u2, v1, v2. So when we add u sub 1 plus v sub 1, okay? And then the second component, u sub 2 plus v sub 2. Okay, then let us apply the transformation. So we add first the vectors and then we apply the transformation again. So this time, this is our first component. and this is our second component. And let us take that as W1 and W2, okay, just to simplify. So what will happen now, so that becomes now W1, W2. Following this rule, following that rule, first component minus the second component. So W1 minus W2. And then for the second component of the image, it should be the first component, W1, plus twice the second component. Okay, so uh, just to follow the rule easily, so that's why we changed that to W. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the original form. Remember, your W1 is from here, U sub 1, U sub 1 plus V sub 1. Okay, this one. And then we change now W sub 2, which is U sub 2 plus V sub 2. Okay, just replace everything, no? And we have to take note of the parentheses, no? All right, so when we add, let us combine those or move or write together the U first, no? So U1 minus U2, all right? So we have it here. Plus, we have V1 here, minus V2, okay? So we just regroup, no? The U's and the V's, okay? So U minus 1, U1 minus U2 here, okay? And then the V here. The same way for the second component, we write the U first, so U1, and then there's a U here, but you have to multiply by 2, all right? This is for the second component, no? And then we have V1, and then again we multiply, all right? So that is the transformation of the sum. Now, if we do it separately, okay, so we leave it here. If we apply the transformation separately, no, so let us apply the transformation to U first, okay. So we have now, following this form, okay, just change V to U, okay, because the one that we are using here is U, okay. So U1 minus U2, comma, U sub 1 plus 2U sub 2. And then plus, of course, this one, which is exactly this one. So we just write that way. Then, when we add the first component, add to the first component here. Okay? Yeah. And then, for the second component, add it here. Okay? Isn't it that it is exactly the same? They are exactly the same. Okay? So, when we apply the addition first, then we do the transformation, and we apply the transformation first before we do addition. You have to get the same value or the same form. Okay, so that is for the addition of transformation. Okay, so let's go to the scalar. Let's see if they are also the same. Okay, so in here we just need one vector, no? Because we just have to prove the scalar multiplication with a vector. So this time I'm going to use now U. So U sub 1 and U sub 2, and according to the rule of the transformation, it is U sub 1. The first component must be U sub 1 minus U sub 2, and the second component is U sub 1 plus 2U sub 2. Okay, so CU. Let us multiply first the scalar to the vector. Okay, so and then so that's CU sub 1 and CU sub 2. All right, so then let us apply now the transformation. Okay, so the first component is CU sub 1. Okay, that's the first component. And the second component is CU sub 2. So we subtract, no? We subtract, remember. First component, second component difference. And for the second component, the first here, okay, U sub 1 here, so we just pattern. So that is U sub 1 plus twice the second component, okay, so 2C U sub 2. And from here, you can see that for both, no, for both every term now is has common factor is c. So we can factor out c. And the moment that you can factor out c, okay, then you can change that to this form, okay, because you were able to factor out c. All right. So with that, uh, the t is the transformation given is a linear transformation, okay, because we were able to show that this is the same as this one. Now, when do we have the one that actually in the next slide, no? When do we have uh, a transformation that you cannot factor out C? Let's have an example. So instead of using this one, U1, U2, let's use a U sub 1, I say negative minus 1, and then U sub 1 plus 2 U sub 2. Okay? So let us say this is my U, no? Here, my U. Okay? So if I multiply now C, so CU will be, okay, uh, this is, I mean, W. T of U. T of U ito, no? The transformation. T of U. So, if I'm going to apply, again, no, my U is the same, okay? The same way, see, I have here CU. That will give us C U sub 1, comma, C U sub 2, okay? Now, when I apply the transformation CU, okay, so I'm using this one and I'm going to use this transformation. So the first component, CU sub 1 minus 1, okay, because it's minus 1 here, and then comma, first component, which is CU sub 1 plus twice of the second component, which is CU2, okay? Now, very obvious here that in the first component, you cannot factor out C, no, because there is no C here. Because it says here it must be 1. It's not a variable. So you see, this is a type of a transformation that will not give a linearly transformation. So in here, okay, you can factor out, so that is C U sub 1 minus 1. You can factor out C, okay, because common, okay? But in the first component, the C is no longer component. So you cannot say that this is C times the transformation of U, okay? You cannot apply that one. So this is an example of that transformation. Let's move to uh, more of the non-linear transformation. What are the functions that are not linear transformations? Other functions. Previously, I gave you one already. So let's have this one. F of x equal to sine x is not a linear transformation from R to R because in general, a sine x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is not equal to x sub 1 plus x sub 2. Remember, class, when we have this function, okay, so we need a sum, okay? For us to show, we need a sum of uh, our variable. So if we change now x to a sum, so let us use x sub 1 and x sub 2. So we have to show that f of x sub 1 plus x sub 2, okay, must be the same with the function of f of x sub 1 plus f of x sub 2, okay? All right, so in here, so we change x to x sub 1 plus x sub 2. Remember, that's how we apply the function. Okay, so that will be x sub 1 plus x sub 2. Okay, now is it the same or equal to sine um, x sub 1 plus we have sine, we replace now x with x sub 2. All right. Of course, they are not equal because in trigonometry we have the identity. And remember, if you recall, no, let us put it here. In the previous, I think in your trigonometry, we use the x and y, no? X plus y, x plus y. And if you recall the sin, cos, cosine identity, you have sine x cosine y plus uh, cosine x cosine y. So that is supposed to be the identity. So for the sine x sub 1 plus x sub 2, it should be sine x sub 1 cosine x sub 2 plus cosine x sub 1 sine x sub 2, which is exactly different, no? So they are not the same. And if we try to use particular value, so let us say I have sine 90, okay, 90 degrees. And this is the same as sine 30. Let's put that as a sum, 60, okay? In trigonometric identities, which actually you have this in your trigonometry, is it the same? Remember, no? Um, is it the same if I say that is sine 30 plus cosine, plus sine 60, okay? Remember, sine 30 is 1/2. Sine 60 is the square root of 3 over 2, okay? And as you can see, this is 1 plus the square root of 3 over 2, okay? And sine 90 is equal to 1, okay? So you see that is not equal because this concept, okay, this sum is not equal to that one because there should be a cosine. So if you write this as sine 30 cosine times cosine 60 plus cosine 30 times sine 60, then you will come up with a value 1. You can check this with your calculator. I'm not going to answer this one by one. So, but you can check this with your calculator and that will give you 1. Okay, so you see, so this one function is not a linear transformation because of this. Let us have another. Okay, another one. Okay, let me remove this. F of x squared, okay, is again not a linear transformation. Why? Okay, again because okay, if I say, again, now we have to show that f of x sub 1 plus x sub 2 must be the same as f of x sub 1 plus f of x sub 2. Does it follow that rule here? So if we change now x to x sub 1 plus x sub 2, it should be x sub 1 plus x sub 2 squared. Okay. Is it the same? Is it the same? If I say, so x, change it to x sub 1, so that will be x sub 1 squared plus x sub 2 squared. Remember, so if we have the trigonometric identity in algebra, we also have that algebraic identity. And the square of a binomial is not, no, is not equal to this one, which is actually your common mistake, no? But it is not equal because there should be a middle term here. If you recall, that middle term is 2x sub 1, x sub 2, plus, again, that one, the square of the second term. Okay, and in this example, you can see clearly 1 plus 2 square, so that is not equal to 1 square because this one is 1 plus 4, and that will give you 5. Diba? That this will give you 5. And 1 plus 3 square, 3, 1 plus 2 is 3, then you square, that gives you 9. So with this given example, that really is not that value are not really equal. Why? Because when you square binomial, there should always be a middle term of the twice of the product of the first and the second terms. So again, this function is not a linear transformation. Let's have another one. Okay, so let me remove again this one. See, f of x is equal to x plus 1. So again, if we show that f of x, let us use again x sub 1 and x sub 2, no? X sub 1 plus x sub 2. Now, is it the same as f of x sub 1 plus f of x sub 2? Okay, so in here x plus 1. So you replace now this x with x sub 1 plus x sub 2. And there is 1 here. Okay, plus 1. Now, is it equal to when we replace f of x? So that will be x sub 1. And of course, there is plus 1. And in here, again, we replace x by x sub 2. And again, there's plus 1. And as you can see from here, no, that is x sub 1 plus x sub 2. When you add, that will be plus 2 because of this, no, 1 and 1, which is now not equal to this one because this one is only 1. Okay, this is just similar to the vector I have given. There's a constant 1. That's why it did not goes with the scalar multiplication. Okay, so these are some examples of non-linear transformation. Okay, all right. So there's an explanation here below. So thus, okay, they are not linear transformation. Okay. Let us apply the theorem to 6.1, number 4. Okay, that is for the linear transformations and bases. So if, let's say, your transformation 100 is 2, negative 1, 4. Transformation 010 is 1, 5, negative 2. Transformation T001, 031. If you notice, naka-standard basis yan. So, how are we going to find the transformation 2, 3, negative 2? Okay. The given and the one that we are going to find, the transformation 2, 3, negative 2. Recall that we can write the vector 2, 3, negative 2 as the sum of 2, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, and 0, 0, negative 2. Remember, when we factor this, if we factor out 2, then we'll have 1, 0, 0, and then plus factor out 3, we have 3, 0, 1, 0, and if we factor out negative 2, so that will be 0, 0, 1. And notice, no, this 1, 0, 0, according to theorem number 6.1, property number 4, we can write this as the transformation 1, 0, 0, okay? And that is equal to 2, negative 1, 4. And this one, 0, 1, 0, that's a transformation T0, transformation 0, 1, 0, and that is equivalent to 1, 5, negative 2. And then for the last one, it is equivalent to 0, 3, 1. So if we multiply this, no, that will give us 4, comma, negative 2, comma, 8. All right. And then plus 3, again, you multiply each, 15, negative 6. Plus, I have to put plus here. Then multiply, that's 0. Multiply, that's negative 6. And then multiply, that's negative 2. And then once we add, that will give us 4. 4 plus 3 plus 0. So 4 plus 3 plus 0. Then for the second component, that's negative 2 plus 15 minus 6. And then the last 8 minus 6 minus 2. And that gives us 7. That is 7 also 0. So then that is a transformation 2, 3, negative 2. Okay, so this is our answer. For example number 5, we are asked to find the transformation B equal to AV, where A is equal to 3, 2, negative 1, 0, 1, negative 2. Okay, and of course, B is defined as B sub 1, B sub 2. Okay, so our transformation is defined as the mapping from R2 to R3. Okay, R2 to R3. Okay, so letter A, we're asked to find the transformation of V, where V is equal to 2, negative 1. And we are asked to show that T is a linear transformation from R2 into R3. So our solution, again, the given vector is 2, negative 1. So we can write as AV equal to, of course, you write the given matrix, and then you replace this with 1 negative, 2 negative 1. So we multiply this and this one. So that's, let's put it here, no? Okay, so that is 6. You multiply 3 and 2. So that's 6 plus multiply 0 and negative 1. So that's 0. Then next, you multiply this to this. So that is 2 times 2, that's 4. And 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And then lastly, this one, 2, 2 and negative 1 again. So negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. So when we add, you see that 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. And negative 2 plus 2 is 0. That's why we have this 6, 3, 0. Okay? So from there, you see, we have changed from vector in R2 and we transform to vector in R3. So you see from two-dimensional, from a two-dimensional in here, okay? So if we can write this as 2, negative 1, 1, 2, negative 1. So the vector is here, and it was done in a two-dimensional or a plane. And with this, after using this rule, wherein that is a matrix, now we change now to 630, which is in three-dimensional. No? You can write this way or draw or plot the point. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we move to the right 3 units, 1, 2, 3, and then 0. We do not go up. So from here. So this is now in a three-dimensional. So this is an example of um, in from a plane, like what they're doing in graphics. From a plane figure, they can transform it to a 3D. No, so it, that is actually the transition they're making in movies, from uh, plain figure or plain uh, graphics or drawings. They can make the pictures move and uh, move it in a three-dimensional place. So that's the use of the transformation. Okay. And for letter B, we are asked to uh, prove if this one is a linear transformation. So of course we have to introduce two vectors, and at this point we're going to use the u and the v, okay, for us to show. Remember that we can show that it is a linear transformation by adding two vectors if they are the same, no? So first we do the addition first. So we add the two vectors, okay, and um, apply it to a transformation, and we get also the transformation first before we add. So in this case, the first one is applying the transformation or the rule first, and the rule here used is the matrix. Okay, so in here, so we do the transformation of each, no? So of each vector. So again, the rule that is used is the matrix. Okay, so we apply this to u1 and u2 and then to v1 and v2. So we multiply this and this one. Okay, so what will happen? So 2 times u sub 3 times u sub 1 plus 0 times u sub 2. Okay, next is 2 times u sub 1, second row, and then u times plus, no, 1 times u sub 2. And then the third, negative 1 times u sub 1, all right? Then negative 2 plus times u sub 2, then we have negative 2 u sub 2. So doing the same process with this, then we got this one, no? And then we do addition now, okay? We add, so this is 0. So we add, all right? Or we simplify first, no? We don't need to, if you want to add later, no, to show, but let us go to addition of the vectors, okay? We add the vectors, which is u1, v1, okay, u1 plus v1, and u sub 2 plus v sub 2. Then we apply the matrix, or we multiply it now to the rule in the transformation, which is the matrix, this matrix 3 by 2. All right, so again, no, from the first one, we did the multiplication of the matrix to each vector. Now in here, we add first the vectors and then we multiply. And we have to show that this, whatever the result here, must be the same as this. So from here, again, this one is multiplied to this whole. So 3 times u sub 1 plus v sub 2 plus 0 times u sub 1 plus v sub 2. So this is 0, so the result is this. Okay, this one you multiply. All right, then the next one, 2 times u1 plus v1 plus 1 times u2 plus v2. Okay, so you see the result is here. You multiply. And doing the same process with this, we have this one. Now, to look this one the same as this, you see all the u's are on the left side and the v's are on the right side, left side, right side. No, sorry, yeah, left side and then right side. Okay, so let's do the same way. So U1, 3, U1 and V1 on this side, V1 on the right side, left side U's. Okay, so I write U, 2 U's of 1 and U2. Okay, this one. And then the V's, V1, 2V1 and V2. Okay, so just regrouping, no, or rearranging the terms. So in here, negative U1 and minus 2 U2, okay? The negative V1 and negative 2 V2. So you can separate them with this plus, see? So 3U1, all the U's here on the left side and the V's on the right side. And that is exactly the same as this one. So you can prove this by just simply arranging the terms or regrouping the terms. So they are exactly the same. So with that, we can say uh, that the transformation U plus V is exactly the same with the transformation of U plus the transformation of V. Okay? All right, next. For the scalar multiplication, so we'll just use V. Okay, we don't need two vectors here, just V and the scalar. So when we multiply the scalar, so that will be CV1 and CV2. Okay, so we have to show that these two are the same, of course, and it should also be equal to CT transformation of V, which is the same as C transformation A of V. All right, so the A, remember this is the A given in the problem, and we apply here. Okay, we use now the C. Again, we have to manage to move out C at the end of the solution so that it could look like this. Okay, so we multiply this and this one, so that should be, okay, 3CV1 plus 0CV2. The next two, CV1 plus 1 CV2. And then negative 1 CV1 minus 2 CV2. Okay? And again, uh, each term has its C, so we can factor out C, okay, in each row. And of course, since the C is common in each row, we can still factor it out, okay? And this one is actually the transformation of V, okay? When we apply this A, V, okay, that is 3, 0, 2, 1, negative 1, negative 2, multiply it to V1, V2. So that is 3 times V1 plus 0 V2. Then we have 2 V1 plus V2 and 1 V1 minus 2 V2. Okay? Yan. And that is exactly this one. Okay? So if we multiply CA V, that is simply C 3V1, 2V1 plus V2, and V1 minus 2V2. Okay? They are the same. Okay? Yan. So, therefore, it is a linear transformation. So, we go now to the linear transformation given by a matrix. Okay, so we have here theorem 6.6. linear transformation given by a matrix. Let A be an n by n matrix and the function t defined by t of b equal to AV, which is A is a matrix. And it's a linear transformation from Rn to Rm. Now to conform to matrix multiplication with m by n matrix, n by 1 matrices represents the vectors in Rn, and m by 1 matrices represent the vectors in Rm. Okay. We have a remark here. M by n zero matrix corresponds to the zero transformation from Rn into Rm. And the identity matrix M by n corresponds to the identity transformation from Rn to Rn. So let's have an example here. Linear transformations given by matrices. So consider the linear transformation T from Rn to Rm defined by T of B equal to AV. You are asked to find the dimension of Rn and Rm for the linear transformation represented by each matrix here. So we have letter A, 3 by 3 matrix, B is 3 by 2 matrix, and C is a 2 by 4 matrix. Okay. Okay, so for letter A, the size of the matrix is 3 by 3. Here's the given. All right. And when you multiply, of course, 3, this is 3 by 1, no? 3 by 1. So that will be your vector. And when you multiply, you will be creating 3 rows also, no? So you have to multiply this one and this one, okay? So that will give you 1 row, okay? Or you say 0, 0 V1 plus V2 minus V3, okay? And then the next one here, multiply to this column, so that will be 2V1 plus 3V2 plus 0V3. And then the last one here, multiply to that column, that gives us 4V1 plus 2V2, 2V2 plus V3, okay? So in here, we can say that the whole of this, let's just simplify that to u sub 1, okay? And then the next is u sub 2, u sub 3. So what we created is um, 3 by 3 by 1. So this is now what we call vector or real number in R3 because there are 3 components, okay? So from R3 to R3. What about the next one? The size of the matrix is 3 by 2. So 3, 1, 2, 3 by 2. Of course, the vector that we're going to apply here must be in R2. Okay? 2, because this is has 2 columns. So you multiply this one with this. That's the result. And this one with this again. That's the second row. And then the last row. So how many rows that we created? 1, 2, 3. So this vector now is in R3. So the transformation is from R2 to R3. Okay, so the theorem says that if you have a 3 by 2, okay, 3 by 2, so what will happen to the transformation will be from 2 to 3, okay, R2 to 3. So in here, the size is 2 by 4. So the transformation will be from R4 to R2. Just have to reverse that one. So you see what will happen if this one is multiplied to this, then you will have one row. Okay? Multiply here to this one, another row. So we have 2 rows. So this will be in R2 coming from R4. Okay? So this example will just show what will happen to your vector or to the transform vector when you apply these matrices of the given size of 3 by 2. That is 3 by 2. So you're going to apply vector in 2 and the result will be in R3. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson. The next are the exercises.